Preseason's in the books, so you're more or less optimistic about the Commanders' upcoming season. I did have 3 options. More optimistic, less optimistic, same. It's the preseason. You can vote at Junks Radio.
I'm going to go vote right now. I'm going to vote more optimistic.
Really?
I'm just so glad the preseason's over, aren't you guys?
Of course.
I mean,
Yeah,
we're
but I
looking-
hate waiting 2 weeks.
It almost was over
we got
a
college
week
football
ago. Like for the Commanders, it really kind of was over a week ago because once you shut Jaden down and, they start Jeff Driscoll. He's fighting for the 3rd spot.
Yeah.
By the way,
assuming Mariota
I was happy
is number 2.
I was happy just because Trace was playing the last 2 games.
Sure.
But in general, the preseason is just bleh.
I was
even though
leaving-
you're looking forward to it for so many weeks.
I left MGM at like 4:30 yesterday. I got on the Beltway, and I was like, "Why is there all this traffic on the Beltway?" And then it
hit
clicked
you?
in my head. I saw like a guy with like a burgundy like Suburban with wearing Commanders gear. And then I saw like a truck with a
It was Tailgate Ted.
with a Patriots flag heading towards the FedEx Field.
Judging
exit.
from the overhead views, it didn't seem like there were too many people there.
No,
I'm
there
not saying
weren't.
it was packed. I'm just saying that there was elevated traffic on the Beltway, like at 5 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But in this particular game, of course, there was no Jaden Daniels. I was curious after all the conversation about trading away Jahan Dotson, who was going to play at receiver, and it was the 2nd-tier guys and 3rd-tier guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
I know Martavis Bryant made some noise late in the game and caught a touchdown pass.
They may keep him.
Apparently, he drew a couple of pass interferences. I
He did.
not watch the end. I will
Yeah.
raise my hand and say I did not watch the end of that game.
Well, you could see the replays if you look for them.
Yeah,
You
but
can
I
see
got
the
back
replays.
from New
I
Jersey.
mean,
for
Martavis
like 9 o'clock
Bryant,
last
even though he
night.
hasn't played full-time in the league in like 6 years, he's a physical freak.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if
They're
he,
going to keep him.
I think they're probably going to keep him just because of his skill set, his size,
Mm-hmm.
the fact
Maybe
that Dotson
because of the
is
way
gone.
he played last night.
But I think it's going to
He
be.
didn't do anything in the first game.
I think it's going to be a mess
No,
at
but they
receiver
see him in
after
practice.
McLaurin throughout the season,
Sure.
and I think they're going to lean a little more heavily than we thought on Luke McCaffrey
Luke
from the looks of things.
and Oz. I'm telling you.
Yep.
Neither played. Right?
Right.
Oz is a big part, going to be a big part of this offense, I think. Who knows what I think Diami might be too. I think they
Pringle
like him.
made a nice catch last night. Now, he'd stepped out of bounds. And, there was a penalty on the play, but that was a nice catch.
for
Yeah.
sure. I'll tell you, you can say what you want about Driscoll, and we're only talking about 2nd and 3rd quarterback. I've really been impressed with him, and so they'll probably release him and bring him, stash him. I hope they do. He deserves it. And even though he threw a bad pick, it's fine. It's the NFL. And Trace really, I thought, acquitted himself
He
well.
played well, yeah.
He should be proud. His family should be really proud
Definitely.
to come in. No practices, a couple practices, and he looked much more settled.
He looked
last
more
night.
confident.
He trucked that dude on the sideline.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sideline
that was
going
funny.
nuts.
I like that.
He's
was
definitely a fighter.
He was throwing downfield.
Yeah, he had a really nice ball downfield that I thought should have been caught
Yeah.
from down the right sideline.
Had a really nice pass to Cole Turner across the middle.
Yeah, I mean he ran for several times. He showed enough that I think when there's an opportunity, someone's going to call him.
Maybe.
Sure.
I hope so.
I do think so.
Maybe,
Cake
a
since-
3rd stringer gets banged up and they just
Yep.
give Trace a call and get him on a
Well,
practice
they
squad.
need somebody in a pinch. Yeah.
Casey, you weren't here last week
Yeah.
when the Jahan Dotson trade happened. How surprised were you? And what does that tell you?
I was kind of surprised by it. I didn't know that they had soured on him to the point that they had, where they regard him so little. They said, oh, we'll deal you in the division. We're so unscared of you and your skill set. We think you're going to have such little impact. We'll deal you to a division rival.
That was the thing that
I
was
was a
the
little
most
bit taken
jarring.
aback by it.
Yeah.
But look, if he doesn't fit your new culture, if he's not one of Kingsbury's or Quinn's guys, then I trust in Adam Peters that you don't want that guy just languishing and not being an impact player for you. If you can turn it into some sort of draft capital that comes back your way to get one of your guys down the road, I don't have a problem with it. I was a little surprised, though.
I was surprised, but I'm fine with it. I think they didn't think he was special and
Right.
wasn't going to be special in their system. So
Just another
move on.
flaw from Ron Rivera. Just another botched pick from the Ron era.
I'm guessing,
Yeah.
Cakes, you might have to check the book just because your general pattern is
Yeah.
you love to bet receiver overs.
I do,
Did you
yes.
bet on Jahan
I don't
Dotson
know.
overs this
It's
year?
it's a great question. Now, the problem is they're still in play because there's no caveat for him getting traded.
Good point.
He's going to have unless Devonta Smith or A.J. Brown goes down with an injury, he's going to have such a minimal role with the Eagles. You think he's going to out-earn those guys for targets?
No.
Do you think that?
No.
'Cause
I know that.
No, it's basically the beginning of the end for him. He's just going to be on a journey now.
Let me just say this. If I have Jahan Dotson bets in here, they're drawing dead.
Yes.
Or drawing very thin. It's not looking great. So
Yeah.
hopefully I'm going to peruse through here and not see any Dotson bets.
But I thought there were some interesting guys that did stand out a little bit. I know you guys don't care about the back of the roster guys, but Fidarian Matthews.
He finally
He
did
finally flashed kind of
He
throughout
needed
the
to.
game. Ridgeway flashed.
Ridgeway just smashes people when he
he's
tackles
so
people. He
solid.
smashes them.
He's a solid backup. Like I think it'd be crazy to cut him. And KJ Henry flashed with a sack.
Yep.
He didn't really flash when I was watching, but Dan Quinn continues to praise Jamin Davis and how he's attacked that. So I'd be shocked if Jamin's not a part of this. And he even alluded in the post-game presser that they'll use him a little bit everywhere, at edge, at linebacker.
He had one tackle for loss.
Yeah. So he seems really pleased with him. Cole Turner needed a big day. I don't know if Cole did enough. I don't know. Supposedly he's been blocking well and improving that aspect of his
I think
game.
he had a penalty and a drop.
He did have
at least
one
he had a drop.
play.
I saw, I think, 2 drops maybe on one series. Maybe not technically a drop, but
Yeah.
a ball that was close to him that he could have brought in, didn't.
He had that 25-yard, the one across the middle.
I do think
That was nice.
I do think that the receiver battle is interesting just because there's some names and people that we're very, very familiar with. And I really think they're going to keep Bennett for size. So we'll see.
I don't
mean
see
Bryant?
any.
Bryant?
Yep.
Don't see any Dotson bets, but there are a couple spicy ones here. Jaden Daniels over 16.5 touchdowns. I have yes. Jason, you have no for $10.
I like that
I think
one.
that's. I mean, I
like
just
that
think
one.
that's a stone cold winner. And
Gotta stay
Yeah, he's
healthy.
got to stay healthy. Yeah.
this is not a Dotson bet, but Dotson being gone impacts this. I have Terry with 10 or more touchdowns. I'm getting 3-1 from you.
Ooh.
You have no.
Yeah.
I mean,
10's a big
Terry's
number.
never been a big touchdown guy,
Yeah.
but with no Dotson.
What did we put on that?
He ain't getting 10
$5
touchdowns.
There's
He
no
gets
number.
10 touchdowns.
There's no dollar figure.
Well, we had
3-1 with a dollar figure.
Oh, it's probably a $1 or $2 bet.
Well, what do you want to put on
I'm
it?
sure you
I
did
don't know.
at
What
least
happened
$10.
to you?
Let's do 5.
What happened to the
5 or
I don't
15?
need to write it down. It's in my brain.
Well, that's a very flawed system, JP. I have some memory issues. All right, so we're good.
Well,
Now
we
we're good.
also have the play of in the first week against Tampa. You have
first
2
2
weeks Tampa and the Giants.
Yeah.
4 total touchdowns.
Yeah, I
from,
mean, I just
from
think he's
Jaden.
sailing over that in the first 2
Well, we'll
weeks.
see.
But I could be wrong.
Look,
I'm kind of getting swept up in the Jaden mania.
you are. You're getting swept up in all of these.
So
I
you
am.
voted more optimistic
I did
after the
vote.
preseason.
Yes.
I would vote the same. I think the majority of people are voting the same. I'm not moved by the preseason.
I think
Maybe
I'm
a little more optimistic about Jaden,
Yes.
although he was the number 2 pick. I think that you kind of expect him to succeed. Didn't see enough of him throwing the ball downfield.
Here's part
So
of why
curious to see. I don't think he was pressured once in the preseason.
Right.
Technically,
Well, he's getting rid of the ball like in under 2
pressure.
seconds.
Yeah, so I don't know
Yeah.
that I've seen enough from him to make a judgment.
Well, I think-
Little worried about the receivers.
No, part of the reason I think Jaden's going to have really good numbers, I think the secondary is still especially bad. I think they're going to get air raided in basically every game. I think this team is going to be in a lot of potential shootouts, which means a lot of Jaden Daniels spicy
good.
stat numbers.
I will say this.
Potentially.
Now, it was only the 3rd preseason game, and it's backups and guys that probably won't be on the roster. But you could see this defense is going to be so much more dynamic than that passive model that Ron and Jack have employed here for the last 3 or 4 years. They're bringing pressure, especially in the first quarter, pressure a lot, 0 blitzes, and you're going to get burned. But when you have dicey corners, you just gotta do it.
You have to,
you gotta
gotta
take your
gamble.
chances.
Yep.
And I think it's the most similar feeling I've had since Greg Williams was here, where you just didn't quite know where pressure was going to come from, but you felt like they were going to pressure you. They're going to force you to make a throw. or force you to make a play. And
Well, if that's
I'm willing
if they get
to
picked
live
up,
and die with it.
If they get picked up, it's going to be big
No,
play
I'm
after
willing
big
to
play.
live and die with it though, because I just can't stand trying to cover guys for 10 seconds.
Yeah, you're not going to see that out of this defense.
No. This defense is going to be aggressive.
They're going to try to make things happen.
KJ Henry had the sack early, but then Drake May came in and led them down the field on a touchdown.
He had a nice drive.
So I don't
Really
know
did.
that
He
I was
really did.
impressed with the defense
No, just
based
the
on
pressure.
yesterday.
Just the pressure. Based on yesterday, that's just the pressure. Well, not necessarily the result, just the pressure. I just really,
Just my takeaway. Now, again, I didn't watch the
I think
latter
after that,
portion of the
though,
game.
they punted quite a few times.
Yeah.
I think because Drake was successful and then he went several series without.
Sure, they only scored 10 total points.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm worried about the pressure. Like, in terms of where I see this Commanders team, I don't think I would move off of my preseason prediction. We can do the schedule again. I think I have them as 8 and 9.
I think that's in the ballpark.
It might be optimistic, truthfully, because I look at the pass rush. You may be more optimistic about it. I still have major questions about the edge rushers. I know they've tried to throw Jamin in there.
They may not get home.
They brought
but
in
they're
3
just gonna-
guys.
They're going to bring extra guys.
As Cakes mentioned, the secondary is an issue. This was a defense that finished dead last year. Will it improve? I hope so. Should improve, but they have big issues on defense. And then on offense, I'm sorry, I have more of a problem. I know you're trying to say, well, they can use Oz and use McCaffrey. It's subpar.
It's kind of just a wait and see. I'm just going to stick with the 7 wins. If they get to 8 wins and they double up from last year, that's a hell with a rookie quarterback. That's a hell of a year.
Great start for Dan Quinn.
That's a hell
if
of a
that's the
year.
case.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to get
I
to that
am
number.
optimistic though because I think all of it really rides at the end of the day on Jaden, as we've said, and I think he's going to rise to the occasion. And I think he's going to really help buttress the fact that the offensive line is kind of in flux. Cakes alluded to it. We talked about it last week. He's getting rid of the ball under 2 seconds. That and Pro Football Focus may not say he was pressured, but he has been pressured, and he's just getting rid of the ball. So I don't know.
Stressing
I'm
a lot
excited.
of quick game. For
I do
Jay
think there's a
Daniels.
possibility he runs for $120 in week 1 and just takes the
Definitely
league by
Buck 20
storm.
seems very aggressive.
Oh,
but
that's an outrageous
If
total.
he runs for 65 or 70 in week 1, won't be
course.
surprised
65.
one bit.
I think he's going to do that every week. Just about every week.
every week.
No.
He's gonna
Just
rush for
about every
1,200
week.
He just
yards.
has to be careful. He just has to
I mean,
be
that's,
careful.
you might want to pump the brakes a little
You
bit.
know what
of
I
that.
mean.
Like if he gives
He's
you,
going to
you know what?
run.
If he gives you 35 to 40 rushing yards per week, that's kind of what you're looking for. Maybe 50. Like I think that's high end.
Yeah.
50 gets you to almost 900 rushing yards.
All right, 60's aggressive. So
It's very
that'd be
aggressive.
in 17 games. That'd be 1,020 yards. But I think
Yeah.
he's going to run for
That's a
800
lot.
yards this
Like,
season.
what's his rushing
That's-
prop?
so that's
right
about
now at the
50.
books? Probably
It's probably
650,
in this,
700.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
check that.
I mean, JP's got him like a 300 over his total.
I think he's
if
going to
that happens,
run.
it'd be great.
I've said it. I think he's going to be in that Justin Fields, Lamar Jackson zone
Right.
of rushing
Well,
yards.
if that happens, then they're going to have more than 7 wins.
I tell you, they interviewed him again on the sideline yesterday. I'm sure you guys saw, and he really is just. I tell you, I'm just kind of in love with the kid.
He's an impressive dude.
impressive. He's very calm.
Yeah.
He's in his element.
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
just. Yeah, and he's just respectful.
Mhm.
He's not cocky. He's not all about me. Like, listen, sorry, Robert was all about me. And he's super talented. And I thought it was a real statement when they said the LSU coach, his name's escaping me. The guy,
Brian Kelly.
Brian Kelly said, of all the guys he's coached in 35 years,
Mhm.
over a dozen first rounders, he's the very best player he's ever
Mm.
coached.
That carries some weight.
That's
No doubt about
you're
it.
coaching at LSU, Notre Dame.
Yeah.
He's had studs.
He's the best player he's ever coached.
It's high praise.
And I'm not even sure if he said it's not even close, but
Mhm.
I mean, the best player he's ever coached. And he said he's, listen, I can only take what they say as true, but that he treated it, because I wasn't there, but at LSU, he treated it like he was a professional. He was just like he is here. First one there, last one to leave. Watching film. We all talked multiple times about the virtual reality stuff, that kind of detail he was getting into. He's fully prepared for this. He's grounded I mean, it's just really impressive.
He's obviously genetically blessed to play quarterback, and he works hard at it.
Yeah,
and he takes it seriously.
That's a deadly combo.
No, it's fantastic. It's exactly what you want when you.
That's how
when
you
spend the
succeed.
number 2 pick on a guy.
That's how you succeed.
Yeah.
You be super talented. And you
FanDuel's
work your
got
ass off.
the Daniels rushing props at 525 and a hook. So
Exactly.
that?
I would
and that's even money
Over.
too,
Point
basically.
like to say.
right at the ceiling tiles. Now
But again, that assumes health.
health.
That's the X factor.
Valdez will come in and say, "You got to bet all the unders. Is how you make all the money," and you're
Right.
probably right. But I'm getting caught up in the mania. Okay, you got to let me have my moment.
Yes.
I'm getting swept up in Jaden Daniels mania over here.
Right.
Everybody's caught up into it.
Health
It's
is
crazy.
like the roulette, like the green on roulette,
Yeah,
right? That's the X factor.
Sure.
It screws up your whole computation. I don't know. I think maybe our kicking situation is a little bit better. That's good. Maybe
Cade
settled
York.
down. I don't know if he's got a big leg. I don't know any of that stuff. But it's good that he came in and went 2 for 2, even though he's only here for a little bit.
but for a
Just
team coming
knock
off
it
4
out.
wins, like it, you can have kind of a dicey kicking situation. Like the Chiefs couldn't go into the season with a situation like this. The Ravens couldn't obviously do it, but a team rebuilding, like they're still trying to find their kicker of the future. It's going to take some swings.
Yeah.
It's going to take
But I'm
multiple
just
bites
glad,
at the apple.
I'm glad he didn't. Imagine if he came in and went 1 for 2 or 1 for 3 or something. That would have been a real pickle they were in.
It kind of punches a few holes in my theory that you can just go pluck a
Well,
kicker
now-
anywhere.
Well, they were 32 and 36 yards.
No, I know,
So,
but it's just the operation. Those are equivalent to basically extra points.
yeah, that's true.
But I'm just glad the operation worked, and it's not something we're thinking about obsessively.
Not yet.
Yeah, right now.
Right.
I'm not saying he's going to be here for 5 years. He might be here for a week, but so far so good.
Hey, train your kids to be kickers in high school.
I
It
tried.
can be lucrative.
I
obviously,
really did.
if they're good at it.
When my son was first one, I really did try to groom him as a kicker. We'd
Yeah.
be in the front yard. I put the ball on a little tee, and he wasn't great at
Yeah,
it.
just didn't have it. He didn't have the skill
Now, I
set.
probably started him too early.
Yeah.
He was like 5 or
Right,
something.
right.
But you couldn't really get the ball that high.
You're no Grammatica.
Tough.
The dad who got a couple of Grammaticas into the NFL.
Yeah, I tried.
You're no Automatica over there.
Tried to groom a kicker. Didn't happen.